Pandora's box is about to open wide.
First one in a while, man.
That was.
Boom. Prague, baby, Prague.
Yeah, welcome to Pandora's Box, everyone. We just thought, just before we started, I was like, mate, should we just have a little jam to start off the episode? We hadn't done it in ages, and obviously me and Drew were bringing out sort of songs about once a week for the pod for a while. And then, why did we? Oh yeah, we were how that Jimmy O'Malley video we did, which was taking up a lot of time to obviously do that, so we stopped for that, and then we had that, and then after
stopped
that,
for the gig. We were practicing
a lot for that gig that we did for the Light of Leighton charity, that me and Drew played at.
Which is so funny in a way that you ended up playing more music together, but that ended up making you not play more on the pod.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just like, there's only so many hours in a day, and it's like, you have to pick where you put your resources, don't you?
And if you heard the guitars cutting out a little bit then, these microphones are set for the podcast. Yeah, so we have a noise gate so you don't hear all the funny little background sounds that we sometimes have here.
Yeah.
So it was cutting the guitars out a little bit, but it was still fun to have a jam.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, as I said, like, you know, that's me and Drew, you know, that's basically like all improv on the spot. You know what I mean? We might have like literally had a little tinkle for like 30 seconds before, but you know, just for a laugh. So if you enjoyed it, cool. If you didn't, sorry, I guess. But anyway,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's always fun. Enjoyed it. Just let your minds get lost in the universe that is sound.
There's something about improvisation. It's quite hard to do, I think. Like to just let yourself. It's almost like you become a. There's no kind of filter between the unconscious and the action. Of the conscious, You know, it's just like. You have to go in like. You can't think about it. If you start thinking about it, then you just mess up like crazy.
I love how the further you get into it, the more like combined flow state you get. Like you might start off and you've almost got like a little bit different wavelength of where you're going. But as it goes on, you're literally playing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that combined flow state is an amazing feeling. Like, do you know what I mean?
Some
like
people
when you tap
can't,
in.
Some people you just can't get it with. Like there are certain people that I just couldn't jam with. And that's weird, isn't it? I don't know what it is. It's like you just can't get in sync with them.
It's not on the wavelength.
I think, to be fair to you, Drew, I think you're very adaptable as well. I think you're very good. I think that out of all the musicians I know, you're the one that could play with like the most other musicians. You know, I think that's like an ability you have.
It's fun, man. It is that merging with whatever's happening, you know. And I will give you Kirk Hammett's Plectrum back before we go any further. That's awesome. So you just got that from download, man, didn't you? It's crazy.
I got Kirk Hammett's
so cool.
pick. Yeah, so obviously I was off from Pandoras Box last week. Went to download for like the whole entire festival. First ever 4-day download. I think it was like to celebrate obviously the fact that it, you know, obviously with the pandemic and everything, there was a couple of years where there wasn't a download. It's only a one-off next year. I know they're going back to a 3-day event, but Metallica headline the Thursday night and the Saturday night. And on the Saturday night, I freaking got Kirk Hammett Plectrums. Nice. Yeah, so you like threw it into the crowd. And mate, it's not very like because like I don't go for like picks and that too much because apart from anything else,
I've never got one before in my life.
I think it's almost like some people do go a little bit over the top of it crazy. And I'm like, mate, you're like losing your humanity over like a material object. Do you know what I mean? It's like how they're almost like pushing their fellow man out the way, and I'm a bit like, dude, come on. And I think, you know, I don't want to almost like accidentally end up getting triggered as well if someone like, you know what I mean? Because it's just not worth it, man. They feel like, what, like a pick? But like, that was when I was like, everyone that knows me knows that I freaking love Metallica. Like, I don't even know when the last time there was probably like a week of my life where I didn't listen to Metallica. I'm not saying I wouldn't say I listen to them every day, but there's definitely listen to them every week at some point. Obviously, they've got so many diverse albums at this point as well that it's easy to pick something. You know what I mean? And obviously,
to fit the mood.
And just because I work out all the time, I have a training playlist.
Yeah,
obviously.
good pumping music to get going to.
Yeah, if anyone likes their metal and they want a good metal playlist to actually work out to, or whatever, or just to get into metal, but maybe they're not like super into it and they don't know what to listen to, you go on Spotify, look for a playlist called Fist of Crom. Fist of Crom. That's in Crom as in like Conan's god in Conan the Barbarian. That's where I get it from. So Fist of Crom. It's my metal playlist. It's something ridiculous as well. It's something ridiculous like 40 hours long or something.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, it's
you
like
keep
crazy.
adding to it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's like you could literally like, do you know what I mean? It would take you like almost 2 days to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But all the way through. But yeah, it's got all of my my personal fave like pumping like metal tracks on, you know.
Nice.
But Saturday managed to get the Kirk Hammett pick. He threw it and it was like going in my general direction. And you know when you just think in your head, I'm having that.
Yeah.
And I had it. I wasn't having none of it. I was like, no, come on. For once, I'm gonna assert my physical will.
Yeah.
You know, to have this, and I'm not accepting anything less. Like, so I was, But yeah, so that was cool. So I got that, and I also got, for any of you Disturbed fans out there, I got a Disturbed pick as well. Where is he? Where's my little cheeky Disturbed pick? I'll tell you what as well. It was really cool watching Disturbed because Disturbed aren't one of those bands that like I listen to like loads nowadays, but it's almost like a bit of a throwback. Like, do you remember? I remember we all listened to it like a lot when we were young in school. And funnily enough, I didn't even remember this, but I was talking to like Josh about it, our good friend Josh, like on the way back after the gig that night, and he had like this memory of once when it was like our friend Jake's birthday, and apparently like me, you, and like Josh and Jake and like a few other people went to Taunton. And Josh was like, yeah, do you remember that day, man? And he was like, and we both bought the Disturbed album, Believe, like in HMV at the same time. And I was like, no, I don't remember that. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
I remember that me and Josh both had the album and we sort of got into it at the same time. But I didn't know we bought it on the same day at like the same place.
I think that day as well, I bought Supercharger by Machine Head.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's what Josh said. Yeah. Josh was like, yeah, and Drew bought a supercharger. And I was like, I didn't even know.
I remember that.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
That is a crazy memory.
That is so good that you have that memory. It's so mad that like Josh remembered all that and then you and like said that to me and then you're like, yeah, and I think I got a supercharger. That's literally what he said.
Good stuff.
That's nuts.
Just a question about download. I've seen a few posts about people saying that they were like, there's a lot of people moaning about it or something.
Yeah.
But then like the people that I've seen post about that, I've just heard them say, oh, I've heard a lot of like bad stuff about it, but they just had a really good time. So like,
mate, I guess, you know, at the end of the day, everything's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? I can only say like what I like think personally and also what I experienced. And what I mean by that is like what I could tell other people acting like a vessel, and I don't get where the negativity's come from.
I don't even know what it was or anything.
Trust me, like if you walked around, it was like feel good vibes every day.
Yeah,
every day. I would, you know,
just super hot weather.
You'd be waiting for a pint, and you'd start chatting to some guy behind you, and he was like happy as Larry with his mates, and you'd have a good bit of bants, and then you'd see like, yeah, have a great day, mate, and he'd be like, yeah, you too, man. Do you know what I mean? And everybody you'd see walking about, let's face it, 120,000 people at Download.
Oh, it's crazy,
and
isn't it?
yeah, I think the population of Bridgewater, the town that we're in, and Bridgewater's not a small town nowadays, there's 50,000. I think that's well over twice the population of the whole of this town.
Yeah, that's mental.
All in
in an enclosed space.
Essentially like just a few really big fields.
Yeah.
It's like freaking nuts, man. But I mean, the thing is, as I said, it's all in the eye of the beholder, because I know that some of the controversy, some people are saying that like disabled access wasn't great and stuff, and obviously I can't speak to that. I'm an able-bodied man. Do you know what I mean? That like works out. So like, you know, I mean, Claire was telling us, so like Josh's girlfriend Claire, we went with, who does like if you listen to this on the radio, Claire obviously does some stuff on the radio with young Bullwinkle over here.
That's right.
Tarot Tuesdays and the like. And obviously, and Claire's been on Pandoras Box.
Yeah, of
So
course.
anyone that's listening, for any long-term listeners, obviously you know all about Claire, what I'm on about. But Claire was saying that according to her phone, every day we got back to the car, we were like doing sort of like between 11 and 13 miles a day.
Wow.
Just walking around in like the baking heat. So, but obviously it's like if you are like a fit person, you're not even thinking about it. Do you know what I mean?
Just
like,
doing it.
Like at the end of the day, yeah, like by the time you get back to the car, you might be a bit like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty tired now. But you're not like walking around like struggling. You know what I mean?
I think there's something about a festival where it brings that out of you as well, where you just do not realise how much exercise and how much walking around and jumping around you're doing until the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny as well, because I was like getting back to my hotel room and like working out like some of the days. I took some dumbbells and my dipping bars.
Oh, brilliant.
Like a psycho, and I was just like freaking in my room just doing dips and stuff. Doing freaking dumbbell curls and stuff like that, you know? So,
yeah, it got to be done, man.
Yeah, it got to be done. But yeah, I was loving it. Josh and Claire were like laughing a couple of times, so because like yourself, Drew, I come alive at night a little bit, and by the time it was almost like the hardest parts for me because it was like baking heat during Download, as I'm sure a lot of people know. So it was like 27,
siesta time,
28 degrees.
That was like the hardest time.
So man, it was like, you know, it was like the cold beer and the cold water was like getting me through. And then I had my freaking cap on. I had to, because otherwise I'd probably got heat stroke or something. But you know, and I was applying the sun lotion and that. We were sort of trying to get in. If we'd been in the sun like non-stop for like an hour or two, we would then try and find somewhere to sit in the shade for like sort of 25 minutes, half hour. But as soon as it got to like 8 p.m. and you felt that cool breeze and the sun started easing off, I was like coming alive, man, at that time. And like Josh and Claire were laughing one day because like it was like we were going back to the car. I think it was on the Saturday, and I was on a high as well because Metallica had just finished and I got a pick. And like I was just freaking like running. I was like running around. I was like running like back to the car. I was like running off. I was like, because like it's like about a mile walk, maybe not quite a mile. I don't know. Maybe it is about a mile actually. It's hard to say. But anyway, it was let's just say roughly a mile, maybe a bit under a mile from like the main stage to like the car where our car was. I was like running off, and then I'd like turn around and run back to him. And then like sort of like, you know what I mean?
Sounds like Rupert the Sprocker. And they were going off for a little night.
Yeah. And I can't remember which one of them said it. Like Josh, okay, but they're like, man, how have you got that much energy?
Josh said you were doing zigzags.
Yeah. Like as you can imagine, people walking up, and I was like running like that, like in between the people, and then like running off, and then turning around and running back again, like this like really excitable little child,
mate.
or like a dog or something. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. Yeah.
But it made me realise afterwards. I was like. Because like some people you could see, like you could tell some people were like exhausted, like walking back to the car after that, and you could see, and like one lady even said like this one was like, "You got far too much energy, you have." Do you know what I mean? As I was like doing it and that, like just having a bit of a joke in that. But I was thinking about it afterwards, and I was like, "Mate, I'm actually really fit." And that's like a real funny thing to say, do you know what I mean? But like, it's not, because obviously in my day-to-day life, I'm not really like comparing myself to like the general masses in that sort of way. But I was like, mate, that's like not bothering me at all. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine how like savage it must have been like back in the day if there was like a battle on like a really, really swelteringly hot day, like how, and you had all your armor on and everything, how much, like, I'm wondering if like back in the day they would just not do, they'd wait till the evening or whatever, because they, even though like so many people were going to die anyway, just because they knew, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd just be a horrible thing to do in the middle of the day, wouldn't it?
Oh mate, and all that armor, because let's face it as well, under the armor you've got what's it called,
chainmail. And
so the first layer would be like this really thick
leather.
No, it's not leather. It would almost be like a really thick padded jacket you wear, which was like at least an inch thick. It's called, is it like a Gambian?
Oh yeah.
I want to say it's like a Gambian. I'll look that up in a minute.
Queen's Gambit.
But I think it's called a Gambian. You'd put that on. Yeah, it's called the Queen's Gambit. And then over that, you'd put like chainmail. And then over.
Yeah. And imagine that in like 30 degrees.
I can't remember as well. I have read before how heavy it was. But I want to say it was like somewhere between 30 and 50 kilos. Like, that's a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
Carrying around like a heavy weapon with you all day as well.
Yeah. Well, the weapons themselves actually were deceivingly light. Even the big ones, apparently the weapons, they were so well engineered.
They were strong and light.
They put a lot of science into their weaponry, man. So they, even like the massive, they're called like, different names you could give them, but like, the great swords as they're sort of commonly known. Like even the massive ones, which are like 6 feet tall, were like
quite nimble.
Apparently not any ever more than like 4 kilos or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like most swords were like 2 kilos, maybe even less.
That's mental.
Crazy.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this sword, obviously, so this sword, this is obviously not based on a historical sword. I'm sure there were historical swords that were fairly similar, but this is based on like a movie sword. So like this would be heavier than any sword.
I was going to say, because that is very heavy.
That's a meaty sword.
How much do you reckon that weighs?
I don't know. I reckon maybe this is like 5 kilos, maybe 6 kilos.
I reckon it's more than that.
I reckon it's probably more than that.
I reckon it's like 10 kilos. It's not. No?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Because I can pick up a 10 kilo weight super easy, but I find that's like quite.
But the weight's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The weight's more awkward. It's like so
weird,
long.
isn't it?
Yeah, so long. Yeah. Just sort of going back to say as well. I just want to say, just so it doesn't sound like I'm being like freaking crazy delusional or anything. When I say like I realise how really fit I am, I don't necessarily mean I'm in like the best shape of my life, by the way. Obviously there's a difference between like how fit you are. I've definitely got a bit of a dad bod at the moment. I tell myself that it's okay because I actually am a dad. It's okay once you actually have a kid. So yeah, like I might not necessarily like look the best like with my top off that I've ever looked, but obviously like I never ever stopped training. Thing is, I think as well like and I think obviously a lot of people that don't work out at all and everything maybe aren't, don't look into it the same way, but how fit you are, there isn't necessarily a massive correlation between how cut you are, how fit you are. Now obviously that's to an extent. I mean, like obviously if you're like ridiculously overweight, it's going to be really hard to be fit. Do you know what I mean? Just because if you say you went out for like say like a 5k and you weigh like 20 stone. Like, how much harder is that going to be compared to someone that's 12 stone? Obviously, well, if you told a 12-stone person to put on a freaking 8-stone weight vest, go for a run, they would be dying. That's what it would be like for 12 stone. So obviously, there's a point. It gets to a point where if you're like super out of shape and like super overweight, obviously, then your general fitness will suffer loads. But how good you look with your top off is much more to do with your diet than your training. I train the same as I've always trained. But if you look at a picture of me, say, in 2017, 2018, compared to now, I was in way better shape with my top off then. My training hasn't really changed. And I'm not any weaker now than I was then. But my diet's changed. Do you know what I mean? I'm eating as I said, I've got that dad bod life. I'm rocking the dad bod life. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm at a stage in my life where I'd rather have a massive roast on a Sunday with my family and my daughter and stuff and enjoy the communal family feeling of that then on a Sunday, like some really over the top person.
Extremely stringent with your diet.
Eating like a freaking, just salmon and broccoli.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like tonight, I eat like healthy. Like, I think like tonight, Drew, we're going to have the same thing we had. I think it was the last time you were over. We're going to have like a Greek sort of, so it's all like chicken and lamb and rice and like flatbread and homemade tzatziki, which is obviously all like Greek yogurt with like garlic and mint and cucumber and all this. And it's super healthy, don't get me wrong, but obviously there's a lot more freaking carbs in it. you know, everything is like I'm chucking extra virgin olive oil on everything. And don't get me wrong, extra virgin olive oil is great for you, but it's still at the end of the day calories. It's all extra calories, isn't it? And at the end of the day, that's all that like body fat is. You know, losing weight or gaining weight. It's as simple as calories in versus calories out. If you want to gain weight, you need to find out what your maintenance calories are, and then eat more than that. If you want to lose weight, find out what your current maintenance calories are. Eat less than that. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. Simple as that.
It's good that you are able to like achieve the best of both worlds of like getting amazing food, enjoying that food sounds so good. But then also like you were saying, like how much fitter you were than the rest of the general public running zigzags while you were going back to the car on the last day.
Go back to the hotel and working out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was like you were saying, Calum, as well about like the reason for like working out and stuff as well. Like when you said to me. I can't remember when it was, but you're like, you know, you don't want to be in any situation like where you've got to do something, whether that's like lift something or move house or and like find it a massive struggle and be like, oh, I can't, because you know what I mean, when horrible you see someone like lift up a ladder and walk it across the garden and they're like out of breath or something, you want to be able to like do some gardening and do things that you will do in your general day-to-day life without huffing and puffing and just feel generally healthy, you know.
If you work out hard enough on a regular basis, nothing that you do physically in life will be as hard as those training sessions. And because everything is relative,
and that's a good
everything
feeling.
Seems easy.
Yeah, even like going we've been going swimming quite a bit in the river, like because we've got the River Dart right by us now, and it's lush, and just doing that and just going for a swim and like actually enjoying it without thinking like, oh, this is a bit of like effort, you know. It's just like a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah, because man, I've been really impressed with your.
Yes, and I think it's all the walks and that, because we go on these massive hilly walks like all the time, like once a day at least for like an hour walk. Yes,
what's known as steady state cardio. Yeah, steady state. Yeah,
and then some swimming, and then a little bit of working out in the gym. But I've like, you know what I mean? I'm not.
Have you worked out since the last time you worked out?
No. But I've been swimming and I've been walking.
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, I mean it's better than nothing.
Oh, and I've done lots of like gardening stuff and like chugging around things.
So you've been staying
clearing
fit.
out a garage, like, you know, stuff like that. Like
it would be interesting to see what your strength levels are like later on. Do you know what I mean? It'd be interesting to see how much you've lost.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean, because you were making good progress though, weren't you? I remember it was almost like every week your dips and your chin-ups were getting better.
Yeah.
And that's a really good standard of strength.
when I was at Shaz's last time, so when I stayed over last week, I wasn't working out yours, but I was just there all evening.
Oh yeah, because they have like dips on the outside.
Yeah, they have the dips in the pull-up bar. So I did like 5 sets of pull-ups and
5 sets of dips.
5 sets of 3 sets of dips. Oh, yeah. But like just because it was real awkward because they had something tied to the end of the dip bar.
Oh, right.
And I was like, and it was just real awkward. So I just thought, you know, I'll just do the pull-ups.
It's handy just having that there. Though,
yeah.
I need to get back to the gym, man. I was actually.
Yeah, you said you were getting there really.
I was getting really into it. Like I was going pretty much every single day. Had football some days, running around in the sun, and then went to Ibiza, come back, and I've just since had that sort of like post-holiday kind of feeling slightly under the weather, and so I was like, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna go. Right. Yeah. Yesterday when I played golf, I was gonna go to the gym yesterday, but I was like, it's my birthday. And I feel like I would rather, it was sunny outside. I thought I want to be outside playing a bit of golf, but today I'm going to be back on it. That's my rule to myself.
I can't remember whose quote it was, but I remember there was like a quote and it's always like, the hard part isn't training. The hard part is training regularly. That's so true. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You can have a hard workout once. And don't get me wrong, the workout is hard. I'm not like downplaying that, but the hard thing isn't the actual doing it, it's the doing it regularly over essentially just like your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That discipline.
Yeah, it is mad. But as I said, it's like anything. I think if you do it enough, it does become second nature. It's like I think you've been doing it for like years, it's like, it's not like I need to have a workout even, it's almost like, why wouldn't I have a workout?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just because it's ingrained. Yeah.
Even to the point where, as I said, even though I look like a weirdo, like carrying dipping bars through my freaking hotel, and it was like, it wasn't like a small hotel either, it was quite a big one, so I was like going up these windy stairs, walking through these corridors and that. These freaking 2 12-kilo dumbbells and some dipping bars. I thought 12 kilo, that's a good weight, you know, I could do loads and loads of curls, do a lot with it. Do I mean, do upright rows. You know, there's lots of things that you can do with a 12-kilo dumbbell. It's like a sort of good sort of weight. And also, it's not like so heavy that, like, let's face it, you don't want to be carrying like freaking
25-kilogram dumbbells.
Yeah, like 2 of them through the freaking corridors and that, like doing mad farmer's walk. Like your traps are just like the Hulks by the time you get to your freaking room. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you think like that is a bit silly. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm only away for like freaking 4 or 5 days.
You gotta get some bang for your buck.
Yeah, but just I thought the dipping bars, the dumbbells, I can do freaking loads of dips. Dips are like one of the very best upper body exercises you can do. I can sort of lie down, sort of up, down, upside down, do inverted rows on it. That's freaking pretty much my whole entire back taken care of. I can do rows, I can do dips. That's basically my anterior upper half, my posterior upper half. And then, although obviously it's not as intense as the sort of leg stuff I'd normally do, just I was working out faster, which obviously makes it harder. And I was just basically just doing loads and loads and loads of bodyweight squats. So nice. I would literally just do like dips, rows, bodyweight squats.
Yeah, you'd have probably hit your head if you did jump squats.
Yeah, yeah, and also I thought apart from anything, I was thinking about doing jump squats, and I was also thinking about doing burpees, but I thought apart from anything else, it'd be super inconvenient to the person that is below.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like freaking 17 stone, man. When I jump up and down, it's like freaking, you're going to hear it. And I thought, like even though it wasn't like super late at night whenever I worked out, I thought like, you know what I mean? If you were just like trying to chill out or something and all you just heard was like, dong, 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 you'd probably be like, end up, and you know what some people are like. Some people I want to complain about things. Yeah, so I don't want someone knocking on my door. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you've already had a traumatized about that when they. Do you remember when you were in a hotel and you were saying
in Edinburgh?
And all you were doing is literally watching telly really low, right? And they were like, someone's complained about you and stuff.
I was really confused.
What the hell was that about?
It almost like annoyed me a bit as well because even though I wasn't like, I didn't act annoyed to them or confrontational at all. But their attitude, like considering they were like staff and obviously you like paid, so you're a paying customer. I remember they were almost being a bit like, just a bit annoying. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it was almost like they didn't believe me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, man, I'm gonna freaking lie to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I remember just being like, oh, I'm just watching telly quiet, and he was like, well, can you please try and keep it down, all right? And I was just like, all right. K-N-O-B. Like,
hotel police.
Have you ever had like a point where you've almost had to battle with boredom against training? Because for me personally, like I was saying, I've been training and stuff like that, but I don't know enough stuff to do. Whereas I can make my workouts different every single time and like constantly going and be like, oh, what am I going to do today? Whereas I feel like, is that a thing where you almost need to have a plan of, all right, I've got so many different workouts and activities you can do. It keeps it fresh all the time.
I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends, like, what are you training for? Why are you training? Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you've obviously training with a specific goal in mind, your training has to be tailored for that. Yeah. If you are just like yourself and you're a member of the general public that isn't training for anything in particular, you just want to be fitter, stronger, in better shape, all of that good stuff, which, let's face it, probably like 98% of people that are in the gym are like that. Then yeah, obviously you can have more fun with your workouts. You got to try and make your workouts fun. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to grow like complacent just through like boredom. It's one of those things though. It's like you have to get that good sort of mix because to achieve progressive overload, which is like, I think we've probably talked about it before. Progressive overload is just basically, it's like you do something, you find it hard, you do it on a regular basis enough, your body like your body will do with anything. That's a great thing about the human body, like playing freaking violin and it feels awkward as hell the first time. Anyone that's played the guitar like probably vaguely remember. We take it for granted, I think, once you actually can play chords and stuff, but like everyone, if you remember really hard back that first time and it was like, even just playing like a C
thing,
is like weird. Like your fingers, it's like,
what are you doing?
It's like you're like, you know what I mean? It's almost like it's freaking weird, man. You play for a while, like you sort of like you have like dipping in and out of trying to learn the guitar, and it is awkward, isn't it? Like even like the very basic standard chords. So it's a bit like that. You know what I mean? It's like at first you struggle, progressive overload, say. Chin-ups like Drew, chin-ups with Drew and dips with Drew, like that. Drew's been doing progressive overload with them, not strictly as we've already ascertained, but I think like the first time you did like 3 reps, was it like the session after or like 2 sessions after that you were doing 4 reps? Then it was like, I think the last time you worked out with me you were doing like 5 reps. I think you might have even done 6 reps once, I can't remember, or like 5.5 I think we called it, didn't we? But it's like, do you know what I mean? It's the idea of that. It's like you do something enough, your body will go, I need to get better at this, and then it will make you better, as long as obviously you are getting, just enough amount of rest and food, things like that.
I suppose that's the answer, isn't it? Is that progression in itself is so rewarding that you shouldn't really get bored of that.
Yeah, so you have to mix that. You need to have your exercises, which are like your bread and butter exercises that I think that you want to be doing on a regular basis enough that you can track the progress. you know, because it's very simple. It's like, okay, well, if I'm getting better at chin-ups, what does that tell you? It tells you that your back and your biceps and your forearms and your grip are getting stronger. If you're getting stronger, the chances are as well, all of those muscles are growing. So there you go. You're getting fitter, you're getting stronger, you know, those muscles are getting bigger, you know, they're activating, which is just going to, anything that requires pulling in life is now going to be easier for you, you know? But then
Apart
at the same
women. Oh, maybe. Actually. I reckon
literally. Well, definitely literally. Just pulling them towards you for a nice smooch. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe pulling them in a way, look how nice your little lats and your biceps look, baby. You know? So, yeah, there you go. Both ways, really. I think it could help you out a little bit. But, yeah, I think, you know, and you know, I mean, you've worked out with me enough, Drew. You know, I mean, I just sort of do it obviously as second nature, but you don't necessarily do the same exercises every session. But but you see it. I see it almost as like body parts, and then you need an exercise to tick that body part. But and
it is always fun for me, like learning a new exercise or something. But it's also, I know what you. I don't know, you didn't say this, but for me, when I'm in the gym and I don't know how to do something, it's like, or you don't even think about doing something until someone, like when you show me like a new move, like the Bulgarian split squats and stuff, like, and it's a really cool, like fun movement. I'm like, oh, that's different. Or like, or those ones where you sit down and you do that shoulder press thing, but with the bar,
the
landmine, stuff like that. I'm like, I would never have thought to do that on my own, but like, that just being interested in something and learning a new thing, that's quite exciting in that as well. So it's like, it's quite cool to just try different stuff out and that.
And it's so cool once you have learned that you can then do that again and again.
Yeah. And
just
learning something new.
And obviously all the different exercises, even if it's say doing the same body parts. So let's say you work out Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Say, okay, and when I say I think about it in terms of body parts, so I literally think, okay, I need a movement for my lower half. I want like a movement for my core. I need a movement for my pushing muscles, my upper body pushing muscles, which is basically chest, shoulders, triceps, and I need a exercise for my upper body posterior chain, which is like back, biceps, forearms, and rear delts. So it's okay, what exercise am I going to do today? So as I said, if you work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday might be barbell squats for 5 sets. Wednesday might be jump squats for 5 sets, or you could do it differently. You could do it a bit more like in a cardio way, like we often do. So it's like 50 reps as fast as possible. You're still doing 5 sets, but it's more like, you know, you're getting that fitness. You're still working on loads of explosive
heart rate going.
Yeah, you're getting your heart rate going, but you're still working the legs. You're still working on loads of explosive power in the legs. Because essentially, if you're doing a jump squat and you're doing it as hard as you can, you're generating as much power from your legs as you possibly can to jump as high as you can. So in terms of the velocity you're generating, you're actually like generating as much power as you would do on a barbell squat, but without the same sort of load, which is not going to be as systemically fatiguing.
Hence why you go in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas obviously you wouldn't if you had freaking a big weight on your back, because you know it's the same amount of force just to stand up rather than like jump, you know, 2 feet into the sky. But you know you're generating the velocity.
10 feet.
Fucking 10 feet, mate. Or just turn into Superman, just fly off. But like, yeah, you know, it's less systemic fatigue because you haven't got that massive weight, but you're getting in more cardio. It's harder in a cardio way. It's not as hard in a systemic fatigue way. You know, it's almost like it's these different things. And then on Friday, you could do Bulgarian split squats. You know, and it's working on your balance more. You know, it's a unilateral exercise. So say a lot of people have a side which is stronger than the other side. You know, like for me, my right side on my leg and my arm is naturally stronger. But I've worked on my imbalances enough now where they're not really. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, if you're doing unilateral exercise, it's good to like pick say 1 a week at least, because then it keeps you honest. It's like if you can say do like 7 reps or something on your left side, but you can do 12 reps or something right, that's a big imbalance.
So
you need to work on that.
That as well.
I'm like even now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like even.
For me, that's one of the biggest positives for working out over a long time, or in my case, not working out over a long period of time. That's a massive imbalance that's come up in my life. And like when I went to a chiropractor because I was getting all this pain down the right hand side of my shoulder blade. So I'm like a normal person that doesn't really work out that much, but just doing everyday
or at least
stuff.
Hasn't been.
You know, but that has cropped up as a major problem in my life. He was like, you're so right dominant with like just what you do every day, because I must, when I write or when I pick things up or I clean or do whatever I'm doing in just normal menial tasks, automatically I'm doing everything with my dominant side. So like it's cropped up as like like chronic pain and stuff, but under your shoulder blades. And I'm like, what even is it? Why would I have that? Like, that's just weird. And he's like, yeah, it's just because you're so like right dominant with what you do. So I can imagine like if you are working out on a regular basis and you're working on those imbalances, it's gonna keep you more balanced in your actual like normal life as well. Because
obviously when you're born, you're like a default human, so you have no imbalances when you're born. You know, unless obviously there's some like genetic reason, like you got some sort of disability. But let's just say that you're like
take my strong hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But let's just say you're an able-bodied like child. You're born with no imbalances, and then you know you develop this right side dominance, because let's face it, we're all left or right-handed. So say, you know, you realise you're right-handed, you naturally start doing stuff with your right side. Obviously, I think we all do, you know what I mean? But obviously over time, what you don't realise is from using that, it's almost like you're getting tight. You're getting tight and almost
the shape of your whole body is just going
like,
a bit weird.
And it will make you over time almost like contort.
Yeah.
Because like some muscles are getting too tight and too developed. The other ones are getting not developed enough. And it's like one of those things you don't notice. It
pulls on your bones.
Yeah, you don't notice it, and then you start I'd say when you sort of get to your 30s, it's about enough time. You creep into your 30s, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute, my upper back hurts, or my shoulder hurts, or my neck hurts.
Yeah.
What's that all about? What's that all about? And then you find out you've got these muscle imbalances.
Yeah, because I thought it was something that it was I slept on it funny or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, nah, this is like over years of just like
I think as well, if you are a musician as well, I think one of the unfortunate side effects is I think that can affect a lot of musicians. I've talked about we talked about on Pandoras Box a couple of weeks ago, Drew, weren't we? That one where Bullwinkle was on holiday. Do you remember we were talking about Emily's friend Katie? Yeah. Like she's got like basically like a jaw disability.
Whoa.
Through like chronic woodwind playing ever since she was a child, to the point where she's like on drugs. She's like prescribed like pharmaceutical grade.
I thought you were going to say medical marijuana then. I was like...
She's prescribed medical marijuana, man. And she's just 420 and every day now.
I can get that for my back.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be like a good...
I reckon it would help.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is you'd be tripping as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you got to balance it out, you know?
Yeah.
But you can't just be tripping all the time, can you? You know? You sort of lose sense of reality. But what we do you know what I mean? She's got like her jaw from just like the shape that you have to pull with your mouth to do woodwind, and because she was like apparently she's amazing. I've never heard her. But apparently she's amazing. I know that she's a music teacher at Haygrove, but
even like say like recorder or something, would it still affect her?
Yeah, I reckon so. I know it's like flute. I think it was like flute that she mainly played.
Yeah, that your embouchure is like the shape.
So what's the embouchure?
The embouchure is the shape of your mouth that you have to make to get the correct sound on the flute.
It's like you breathe. It's like you blow down, don't you? It's like
and you do something weird with your lips. Like
how mad is that? You wouldn't like if say you started learning flute, right? And you hadn't heard of anybody that had this. You would never think this could lead to a freaking disability where I'm like in chronic pain and having to take drugs.
Yeah.
Like, apparently, like Em's told me that like she suffers really badly, real bad pain, man. You know, like she's like, I can't remember if she's had surgery or something, but she's got to the point now where she doesn't play anymore.
That must be such a shame when you get so good at something as well, especially like that. Yeah. She wants to get one of those. You can get like these saxophones. I don't know if you have to blow into them still or not, but they're like MIDI saxophones, so they plug in and you can plug them into sounds and everything. You just do all of like this stuff.
That just reminded me of that song MIDI Toot. No, sorry. What's it called? Mr. Toot by Elvis.
Toot.
You know, because it's like going on about how he wanted a fancy MIDI toot.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then it's like he changed his name.
That's the MIDI toot.
And then he changed his name to Mr. Ibanez. But then it's like this
great track.
But it's the downfall of his career, and then he runs off into the desert. But then this kid just becomes the new Mr. Toot. Yeah, those guys are geniuses, man. I mean, I think like for anybody listening, I think you've all probably heard the "What does the fox say?" And don't get me wrong, I definitely think it's one of those songs that if you've heard it too much, it can get a bit annoying. But like if you check out a lot of their like lesser known songs, I think they are like musical geniuses. All of their songs very much in like a Tenacious D style way, are very comedic. You know, just these two freaking just these two like Norwegian mates. But man, their songs are freaking hilarious. But like actually,
that's my favourite one, that Mr. Toot one.
Yeah, I think Mr. Toot's my favourite one.
That's
just
so good,
so catchy. Just that. So freaking good. And then that freaking little keyboard solo, like, you know, 2/3 of the way through the song.
It's got everything you want in a song, man.
I love that one Stonehenge as well, because it's like you sort of listen to it and you're like, yeah. like, what is the deal with Stonehenge? But at the same time, it's just freaking hilarious that it's like, you know, and it's almost like, but it's like factual as well. He's like going on about how they dragged it like 5 miles from Wales, and like, how the hell did they do that? And it's like funny, but you're also like, how the hell did they do that? But it's like super random as well, and it's like,
they must have just watched a documentary on it or something and thought like, oh, we got to make a song about this.
Yeah, I love it as well. It's almost like you could imagine them writing the song as well. How like some lines almost have like nothing to do with the wider story, but it's almost like it's just funny and it sort of fits. So it's like, you know, like going on about like making like prosciutto for his missus, and it's like, I'm the king. And it's like going on about how he's like making his love to his wife every night, but he's just too distracted. All he can think about is Stonehenge. And it's like, what? Like, can you imagine that? Just like making love to your missus, and all you can just think about though is just like, how did they make Stonehenge? Like, I just love that thought, you know. Yeah, that's a great track, man. How did we even get onto
dislocating jaws? I dislocated my jaw once.
Did you?
And now
I bet that was horrible.
whenever I open my mouth too wide, it like dislocates again.
What?
I was like,
you really shocked.
You're like the snake man.
Yeah, man.
Because that's what they do, isn't it? They dislocate their jaws.
Completely just dislodges my. So I put like a Fanta bottle in my mouth,
like
the bottom of it, and think of how like a Fanta bottle is shaped, where it's like bigger at the bottom, and it sort of gets like thinner. So I think I should put it like past. I think I was just messing around.
Why the hell were you deep throating a Fanta bottle?
I don't know. I don't have an excuse for it.
Don't deep throat a Fanta bottle.
Anybody listening, learn from Bullwinkle. Don't deep throat Fanta bottle.
You dislocate your jaw.
I remember I literally had it in my mouth, and then my jaw just like clicked, and I was like, uh-oh. And I was thinking, there's no way I can get this bottle out of my mouth now. And managed to get it out. But now if I ever yawn and like my open my mouth too wide, it's just like, and then my mouth's just like locked.
Do you know what
in
I reckon
place.
might help it? I don't know for sure, but I could imagine it would. Because I know like a lot of things like that, you know what I mean? The idea is people that have like weaknesses in like bones and like dislocations, like often physios will prescribe doing like, you know, weight training and stuff to like build up the muscle around it. The idea is it's a bit like, you know, when a house starts like crumbling, and obviously you'll get a scaffolder, and the scaffolder puts freaking poles all around the building, and it keeps it stable while they're doing the building work. That's obviously a similar idea. That's like what muscle does. It's like a thick slab of like supporting like foundation or whatever you want to call it. But I know that you can buy these things, and they almost look a bit like imagine like a big chunky rubber that you like use in school. But you just put them in your mouth, and you do like mouth exercises. But all you essentially do is just bite down on them really hard. But you do like reps. So say you would do like, okay, I'm gonna do like 5 sets of 10, like in the morning and the evening, and like over time it builds up your jaw muscles.
It's really weird when your jaw muscles get fatigued. Like, have you ever had that when you're eating?
Really tough steak.
And you just start, and you get if you're really hungry and you just start chewing like loads of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've got to have a break because like from the muscles in your mouth, and that's just such a weird feeling. You think you'd just be able to just do it forever,
but it's beneficial. And one of the things I've actually heard is apparently one thing that's becoming like an issue, especially in the Western world, like America and Europe and that. Yeah. No, you're right.
What?
No. Basically, it's the food that we are eating, the majority of food we're eating now, we do not have to engage our jaw muscles. So as the generations are going by, like every time somebody essentially is having a kid, their jaws are slightly weaker than their parents were, and then their kids slightly weaker. And it's getting to the point now where kids that are being born today have underdeveloped jaw muscles, and it's becoming an issue. And as a
they're
result,
just dislocating them.
And they have like really weak jaws, and apparently apart from anything else, the aesthetic doesn't look very good either, because it's like
gaunt.
Would that be, you know, have you ever seen somebody that's almost like their jaw?
He's got a thick jaw.
Their jaw is like so
strong jaw,
so weak that it's almost like a slide from like their mouth almost to their neck, and it's a bit of a weird look, innit? But that's obviously if you've got like a really small,
like an underbite.
Yeah, almost like if you've got like a small, almost like malformed jaw, that's what you're gonna look like.
Yeah, that's why I grow a beard out, man, so you can't see my weird little jaw.
But like, if you obviously think there would have been a time where all of our ancestors would have been living off like frickin' mammoth meat.
Yeah,
and you'd have been chewing and chewing, and you'd have had like big, thick frickin' jaw muscles, and everyone would have had like a frickin', you know, a jaw, like a big.
I do
big,
think
nice
that like
jaw,
it's mental how strong your mouth is still. Like if you bite down on something,
if you actually bite your tongue with your finger,
or if you need to do something, and like sometimes I naturally like use my mouth for things.
Oh like, yeah, it's like if your hands can't do it, mouth,
and it's weird, and it's weird because it gets a much tighter grip on it.
That PSI or whatever.
Yeah, like. Like, it just clamps down on it. Yeah. And I think that's crazy how much stronger my jaw feels than my fingers, you know.
Yeah, I can't remember that. We've looked into like jaw strength before, but like even humans, man, like,
have a strong bite force. Like you could take a chunk out of someone's arm.
Yeah,
you couldn't grab a chunk out of someone's arm, probably, but like you could not
unless you had like crazy nails.
Yeah, obviously, you could like bite a chunk out of someone's arm.
Yeah,
pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, this weird thing happened to me the other day, and I was saying to Meg, like when we were out on our walk, we've been going swimming in that, and like Rupert comes in swimming with us and stuff in the river, like loving it. But I had this weird like thing that happened to me in the river, and like I was like swimming. And then I just saw like Rupert really intensely like coming towards me in the river.
Did it spin you out?
And it like it almost like triggered this like ancient memory of like an anaconda or something like coming at you at the river, how freaky that would be, or if like a tiger was swimming in the river, or something like that, you know.
Jaguar,
I had this like it was a funny thing, but Crocodile. it was definitely like a feeling that was like, whoa, this is weird that there's this animal coming towards me in the river. And then it didn't help that when he got, because we're out deep, and he will come over,
like jump on you,
and he tries to like get on you like for you to hold him, but he's like
pushing you down.
Yeah, and his claws are scratching me, you know, so that was a bit annoying. But then until I grab him and like have him like that, and then he's just like that in the water. But like, you know, but when he was like swimming towards me, it triggered this like weird like
tribal,
like
turned fully into prey.
Yeah, and it's like weird, like like how it was like a massive otter, really looked like. But
oh my god, that giant otter's trying to kill me.
But how freaky that would be if it was like an anaconda or something just swimming towards you in the river. Like how like
imagine how funny it would be if you were just like watching that, and then you just got into like fully triggered and just had this mental battle with Rupert in the water, and you're just watching that. Oh my god, that guy's just like fighting a dog to the death in the water. You know what I mean? Like freaking nuts. Wow, that guy's got fully triggered. He's just like doesn't even know what's going on.
I did start swimming away though. Like that's the thing. Like and then that was like, and then like I knew that feeling was arising, but I was almost like playing with it a little bit. Like let's see if he can like catch up with me before I get
almost
to the
like
edge.
To see like if he was trying to kill me.
Yeah,
what would happen?
Yeah.
It's fun doing stuff like that, isn't it?
But it was like so fun. Yeah, it was so funny. Just like this weird little thing. But
that's great, man.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen in Peru this month when I go.
It's actually going to be in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be on the Amazon River as well.
Man, maybe you're having like a
right on the edge of
premonition.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, you got to be careful there because they got caimans and anacondas. And
some
of these anacondas are like 30 foot long, man.
This massive river just through the middle of the jungle.
Do you remember? Did you ever used to like watch River Monsters and some of the fish that Jeremy Wade used to get out of the freaking Amazon? Like, because I'm going sketchy fish, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna Google something.
And I'm going swimming with pink dolphins there as well. So there's pink river dolphins.
Aren't they like randomly a little bit aggressive, or is that a different species?
I don't know, but I think they're pretty sound.
Massive.
I heard something today that was pretty crazy while you're getting that up. It was about a bunch of orcas that they believe.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Are trying to sink boats.
No, they don't believe that.
There's one that's teaching them, isn't it?
They are.
Yeah.
They are sinking boats.
Don't they think there's like one in particular one that's like teaching the rest how to do it?
What I've heard is that apparently one boat, they think, if this is what I heard is true, they think that one boat accidentally essentially ran over an orca in the water, and the propeller like messed up the orca. Didn't kill it, but like scarred it and damaged it. And because they are so freaking smart, they've essentially got a vendetta. The same way, like, you know, like if somebody really wronged you, you would like want to mess them up. And they've started targeting boats. It's like the one that got like damaged. I don't know if it was like their family members have like got triggered and started doing it, or if it was the actual orca and then it started teaching the other orcas. But now there's this pod in the off the Iberian coast, which is basically like Portugal and Spain and that, for people that don't know what the Iberian Peninsula is. But so it's like apparently 20 ships have been damaged to the point where they cannot sail anymore, and boats have started to sink, and they've literally had to like SOS, and like rescue boats have had to come and pick them up before they freaking sink.
It's crazy.
You can watch videos of it online, and that it's mad. But I know that there was one British ship off the coast of Gibraltar, I think it was.
And how they're doing it, just smashing the side in.
It's a freaking big boat as well. You see it, and they're so clever, and this is why Wales, it's almost like why one of the reasons I've always loved killer whales, because it's almost like the fact that they never have traditionally hurt humans, even though they literally like toy with prey, which to us would be terrifying, like great white sharks, which like to us are terrifying. But because sharks don't have the ability to think the same, a great white shark, even like a massive, say like a 20 foot long great white shark, which is like upper limit of great white shark growth as far as we know, would not have a cerebral thinking to think, right, where's the weak spots on that boat? What's making that boat go? If I take out the thing that makes the boat go, then they are stranded. And then they, where's a weak point I can target? They just sort of walk around like, sticking their head out the sea, do you know what I mean? Just like trying to bite you or something, and then it's like, silly, dumb, massive fish. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're all in the water, suddenly like, But like, if you're on a massive boat, you're like, what's it going to do? Orcas are so clever. They figured out that the rudder is what makes it steer. They've been taking out the rudders on the ships. Instantly, you cannot freaking steer. And then they've just been like ramming the boats. Big orca males can get over 30 feet long. 30 feet. I think that's like a size that until you sort of see that, I don't think you can really comprehend actually how big that is. And it's not just the size, it's like the girth of them. I mean, I don't know what an orca is round, but I bet it's like insane. I bet it's like almost like 15, 18, maybe even 20 feet in terms of like the chunkiest bit. Like would make us look like freaking, like a baby, maybe even more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, they've just been, and like ships start taking on water, and they've sunk 20 ships. Wow. I don't know if it's like sunk them, but they've like incapacitated 20 ships. But that's crazy. But have we got the thing on today where people can have a look at these fish?
We do.
Look, so some of these fish. Look at the size of that.
Yeah, that's mental.
Arapaima. Do you want to have a look at this, Drew? So that's a fish.
Drew, don't go swimming around these, man.
Look at the size of that, mate. That's an Arapaima.
You've got to think as well. The reason he's catching these ones as well. Oh, these are just massive ones. Actually, I thought you were getting up river monster stuff. My bad.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say on river monsters, obviously all the ones that he goes for there are like ones that have, in theory or apparently, attacked people.
Well, this is an Amazon River species. Look at the teeth on this fish, man. It might not be the biggest, but look at the teeth on it. Imagine that biting your balls, Drew. Imagine you're like, oh, let's go for a little swim, Meg. Jump in, that bites your balls. Like the lower teeth on that, crazy, isn't it? Jeremy Wade. Look at the size of that catfish, Drew. Sorry, man. Sorry to keep you getting that. That's the freaking size of the catfish. Like, look at this, like, compared to that man.
Horrible, man.
That's like bigger than the bloke.
Big old beast.
Oh, what's this one? How Amazonians saved a Terminator of the fish world. Drew, look how evil this looks. Sorry, man. Last time I gave that. Look at that. Look at that face. Oh my god. Look at that, mate. Menacing. And obviously there's piranhas. Piranhas in the Amazon. Yeah, so basically just be careful with I thought that one was in Africa. That's the Goliath tigerfish. I know that's a Goliath tigerfish. I thought that was in Africa. Let me just see a minute. I know I did type in Amazon, but it might have just randomly got Amazon. Sorry, an African one. But let me just see. If that's in the Amazon, then you definitely got to be scared of that. That is freaking terrifying.
That's in the Amazon. Be scared.
A Goliath tigerfish has 32 razor-sharp teeth. Where does it say that they live? I thought those ones...
It's weird because in my head I'm automatically like, yeah, I'd go swimming in the river. But now I'm like... Yeah. Would I?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. These ones aren't in Amazon. It just says they're in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But yeah, man, I thought they were. I could remember actually watching that episode. But shout out to River Monsters. What a great program that is.
I've never watched that.
Oh,
so
mate,
good.
I reckon you'd get right into it.
Yeah.
I don't see how you couldn't, man. Because you love obviously like nature and it's just fascinating. And the way he does the episodes is so good as well. It's like this full-on adventure quest.
He's like fully over dramatic as well.
Oh,
so everything
great.
is like he's killing or he's catching, not killing. The like biggest fish in the world and the most threat to everyone.
Yeah, you almost feel like, could he die?
Yeah.
He fishes sharks and everything, man. Like,
I always think his sound that he always just chucks them back as well. Like he never kills the fish. Sound.
Oh, I thought you said sad. I was like, all right, mate, calm down.
No, sound.
Yeah,
he always chucks back the fish rather than killing them.
Yeah, man, for sure. We'll pick this up in a minute, guys. We've got to go for a little break, but we shall see you in a minute. This is a nice little song for you to listen to. For anyone listening on the radio, that was The Willing Well Part 1. What a great track that is, baby. Yeah, so before those last couple of tracks, we were talking about the fish of the Amazon, because Drew is going to the Amazon soon. So who knows what he'll be swimming with.
Right on a river, staying at Heliconia Lodge on the edge of the Amazon River.
Yeah, man.
So I reckon there's going to be some crazy animals flying around.
Yeah, watch out, man, because
around.
they might think that your Todge is a little like fish lure. Do you know what I mean?
Little worm.
Yeah, they might think it's a little freaking... You're a really big worm.
Little wormy.
They'll be like, oh, that's a massive worm.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's all right. Trying to sell you to the masses, man. But yeah, you listen to Pandora's Box, everyone. Thanks for chilling with us today. Sorry, I was just looking up what other crazy fish you might be swimming with in the Amazon, man.
We were talking about like sharks and whales and stuff as well, and I was listening to this woman talking the other day about swimming with sharks.
Oh yeah,
but actually swimming with them not in a cage. It can't
out in the open.
Yeah,
I've read about that. As
and like that and they're like quite inquisitive and stuff. And
still sketches me
and
out,
she
man.
would like stroke him and that. But I'm like, man, that must have been crazy. I did see a shark when I was in Costa Rica and we went swimming by the reef. I don't know what type of shark it was, but it was quite big. And that was just. I think
I remember telling you about that. Was it about the same size as you?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That would sketch me out.
Yeah,
that would sketch me out.
And normally those ones apparently would stay near the bottom. Like you could see the bottom of like the ocean floor.
Yeah.
There, and apparently they would stay quite close to it, like around that area. The guide was saying, but this one like came up and was like not going close to us, but going like say half
checking you out.
Yeah, and then like swimming and just really casual. And he was like, that's really weird behavior for it. It wouldn't normally do that.
I do remember hearing about sharks. Like sharks, because they're so instinctive. Apparently, sharks are a bit like dogs and bears. The worst thing you can do is freak out and start going in the opposite direction. Because that kicks in the, okay, well, this is clearly prey. If it's acting like prey, it is prey. Like, that's how animals like that think. They say an aggressive dog, innit? You want to stand up to the dog. If you run from the dog is going to chase you down, it's going to jump on your back, and it's going to freaking bite you. And a bear will do the same thing. What you want to do is be like, sort of chill out, act cool, but stand your ground, and sort of make it very aware of you. Because what I also don't want it to do is freak out and then think that maybe you're trying to hurt it. So almost like, act obvious, but relaxed. And then it will think like, what's he? What are you? Are you prey? Are you a threat to me? Okay, well, it's not really acting like prey. And it's also not acting like it's a threat to me. So I don't really know what it is. I guess I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah, we cool.
Yeah. Whereas if you're like, it's like it kicks in. Okay, this thing is a prey item. But obviously it's easier said than done, man. You see a freaking 14-foot long tiger shark or a freaking 18-foot long great white or a freaking bull shark or something, and these, especially tiger sharks and bull sharks, are known to be so freaking aggressive. Did you hear about that freaking 18-year-old boy that people think might have been eaten by a tiger shark recently?
No, you can see there's like a video of it. It's
Mate,
mental.
I'll try and see if I can find something.
I saw that. I saw all the details and stuff. Because are you talking about the cruise ship one?
Yeah, the thing is as well. And I sympathise because I did a lot of dumb stuff when I was a teenager. But apparently his friends dared him to jump overboard on a cruise ship, and they were like in the middle of the freaking ocean, man. And he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And apparently, it's a ridiculous thing to do because apparently that it's not necessarily the most dangerous thing. Isn't the sharks or anything like that? It's just drowning in the middle of the sea. It's like even if there's like not even a storm, if it's just a bit choppy, like even if you're a strong swimmer, it's like the chances are you're going to drown.
And man, they're on a cruise ship, which would have taken like miles to turn around because it's huge as well. So he could have even just not been found. Even if they did turn around and nothing got him, they could have just not found him.
And he's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Whoa.
So he did it as a dare, and then he disappeared, and he's just gone. He's just gone. So nobody knows what happened. He either drowned or he got eaten by something.
There's a video of when he jumps off.
Let me try and find it.
And in the video, you hear like people just sort of speaking and, oh, what's he doing? And it's really dark, man, because you see the fin of a shark and you see him sort of get dragged a little bit. And all you hear is one of his mates behind him go, bye-bye, as he like gets dragged off. And that's like how the video ends.
Why would you do that?
It's so dark, man.
Do you know what? All right. It really bugs me, right? Is I swear people in general, like I see like younger people are just not as sound as they used to be. Do you know what I mean? Like don't have that like brotherhood. Like mate, if that was like you or freaking Josh or I could see or something, I would like I'd be like jumping in to try and save you guys.
Where's the lifeboats?
Not be going like, oh, let's put this on TikTok and say bye-bye at the end of the video. Like what the freaking hell is wrong with people nowadays?
Yeah. That's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sorry, Bullwinkle, but your generation are a bunch of douche canoes.
Yeah, it's
not everyone, obviously. No, some really good kids out there, man. Some really good kids out there.
There was another video of a shark attack that went like, viral this week as well, of like a guy that got like eaten by a tiger shark, and he once again I think he was just off like a boat or something in the daytime. Like it wasn't a similar situation to that, but it was just like broad daylight, like a Jaws style shark. I think it was in Asia somewhere.
Oh wow!
And then they went out and like caught the shark afterwards after he like eaten the man.
Whoa!
Crazy stuff, man.
Nature will get you.
Oh, it looks like it was at night time as well that this silly boy.
Yeah, like midnight, man.
Mate, that is so freaking. He literally
was a bit drunk. Or
in a split. Yeah, probably. I don't know. In a split moment, he essentially just decided he was going to throw his life away, didn't he? Don't you think that's mad? Like your whole entire life, you had a whole future ahead of you, and in one dumb decision, it's like, I'm going to voluntarily kill myself now. Like, it's like so mad. Yeah, it says new theories emerge about high school baseball star. So he was like a fit lad as well. He was a baseball, like really high up baseball star. New theories emerge about high school baseball star who disappeared after jumping off boat in the Bahamas. There was speculation that a shadowy image near the man in the video might have been a shark, since the area is known for tiger sharks and other aggressive species of sharks that do attack humans. But experts are debunking this theory. The mystery deepens into what really took the life of the high school graduate who disappeared after jumping off a tourist boat, reportedly on a dare from his friends. Cameron Robbins, 18, was celebrating with classmates on a pirate-themed party boat in the Bahamas when he jumped into shark-infested waters. A life preserver was tossed in the water, but he swam away from it and then swiftly vanished.
Because the idea is that the shark was up right next to the thing, so he was trying to swim away from the shark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen the video, and I thought it was a shark.
I've heard you can see like a dark, shadowy figure.
Like, it looks like a fin comes out of the water, but I mean, it could have been like a wave crashing off the boat or something, I suppose.
And tiger sharks, they're known as, I've heard them referred to as like the like the cleanup crew or something like that.
Yeah, they'll eat anything, man.
That people have done, like autopsies on tiger sharks, both for scientific purposes and because they've, say people have disappeared and they think, because a lot like other animals, it happens with lions as well. Some animals, they get a taste for a certain type of prey, and then they become known as man killers. So then people kill it just to like obviously stop it eating people. And I remember hearing several occasions they've opened up the belly of a tiger shark before, whether it's for scientific purposes or because they're looking for the remains of a person to then obviously solve a case. And there's literally like car tires, license plates. And it's like anything. There's like random chunks of.
Sounds like that guy we were talking about on the pod last week.
Yeah, Terrare.
Terrare, yeah.
But it's literally like anything that comes across in the ocean, it will just eat. Yeah. It's like bite first, ask questions later. So, but obviously the danger with an animal like that is it's not gonna treat you any differently than it treats a car tire. It's just gonna look at you and go bite. No, bite. It's almost like a little toddler that doesn't know any better. Do you know what I mean? It's like bite, eat it.
I think they're the most dangerous ones.
Yeah, I think
everything I've heard, because they're just
I'd
so
say
aggressive.
Them and bull sharks, because bull sharks are known to be extremely aggressive as well. I think I remember hearing something about the testosterone levels of a bull shark, and I think they might have one of the highest testosterone levels of any animal in the animal kingdom. Wow. But as a result, they're super aggressive. So obviously it's testosterone that makes
and they
you
can
aggressive.
go freshwater.
And they can go
freshwater. Which is like the real dangerous thing about them.
People have disappeared swimming in fresh water in America, and people have thought, oh, it's like maybe it's an alligator, like maybe they drowned, and then they've turned out that it's bull sharks. Scary, and it's the only shark that can swim in fresh water. And
I find that so mad. Like how I thought it was the seawater, and that it was fish couldn't survive in freshwater.
It's a weird.
But if you put freshwater fish in seawater, they're just gone, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, obviously that happens to most sharks. I don't know exactly how they achieve the ability to breathe in fresh water, but I know the reasoning behind it. Apparently, the idea is obviously rivers are much more safe than the ocean. So the reason they've evolved this adaptation is because if a bull shark, like mummy, so to speak, gives birth to a bull shark young, at first, like everything in life, it's quite small. So other bull sharks, tiger sharks, great white sharks, whatever.
So they go in a safe
even
place,
like big eels or like whatever. There's lots of things that can eat them. Once a bull shark's fully grown, very little that can eat them. When a bull shark's a baby, lots of things that can eat them. Take it into a river, give birth in the river. The bull shark will stay there until it's reached past a certain size, like 5 or 6 feet or something like that. Then it will swim out to the ocean, and then it will live the rest of its life in the ocean. Unless it's a female when it comes back to give birth.
I think sharks are quite similar, like you were saying earlier with how you could actually swim with them, someone was saying. I think it's because they are similar in how they express emotion to like something like a dog, where you can really understand
almost figure it out
intentions.
And train it.
Yeah, probably from its tail and how it swims and all these different things.
Wagging.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only so much thought going on, and as a result, as a human being, you can figure it out.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of tells.
If I do that, it will probably do that. If I do this, it'll probably do this. And then it's as a result, you can almost like see it as a code.
It is mad on like an evolutionary scale how different mind states and stuff that animals have had from see like how much more intelligent a whale is to a shark and stuff.
They're basically they are basically as intelligent as us.
Yeah,
they're just speaking a different
language,
language,
which I find really, really intriguing, like really amazing to think that you could communicate in a different way with like a whale than you could a shark.
Humans have really tried to communicate with whales and dolphins. I've heard that they've poured like millions into it, but the problem is our vocal cords are just so different that it's almost impossible. I know that I remember hearing, I can't remember if it was a dolphin or a whale. I think it was a dolphin. I know that somebody like tried to train a dolphin from birth to like learn how to speak English, and they were like doing crazy stuff like to try and teach it. But the outcome of the study was basically that their vocal cords are incapable. Like it mentally, it probably was trying to. It was probably trying to, and it probably could understood what we were saying and everything, but it just physically couldn't make the sounds necessary.
Part of the video I saw about the killer whales that we were talking about earlier that were like destroying the boats and stuff. It was playing different sound like clips of, I think it was orcas that were like talking able to almost mimic how a human would do it. So it would be like, oh, this is hello, and you just go like, oh, or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was like all these different words, and it was almost like they were mimicking how to talk. Obviously not in any way similar actually, but just the sort of pace of a word and the tempo of a word, and it was like they could speak back to you. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Right, yeah. So sorry, I'll just finish off this little little story about this guy Cameron Robbins quickly. Willie Robbins' long lost cousin. But it says so experts are weighing in. Don't believe a shark ended the high school senior. Some are now speculating that there were other factors that could have caused Cameron's death. Brian Trasher assisted in the search for Cameron as part of the United Cajun Navy, a local volunteer group that assists in search and rescue efforts. He said, "We didn't think it was a shark because there was no sign of distress or blood in the water," Trasher tells Inside Edition. "Whatever it is that seems to come near him didn't kill, it didn't lunge." That's even freaking itself. Like something big figure did come close to him. That's almost like, oh, imagine that. It's like nighttime. You know what that was? Mate, that would be sketchy. You know? Cameron was a high school baseball star in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and incredibly fit. So if it was not a shark, what could have stopped him from reaching the life preserver that was thrown to him by the passengers on the boat? It could have been that he was taken away by a current. There was some inclement weather hit while they were out there, a spokesperson from the United Cajun Navy tells Inside Edition. Swim safety expert Jim Spears offers up another explanation. When he jumped into the water, he could have hit his head on the boat, Spears says. He could have hit his head on the water. When you hit your head on the water like that, it's like slapping your head on concrete. Either way, this could cause dizziness, a concussion, or confusion. Wednesday marks 2 weeks since the college-bound Cameron disappeared into the dark waters. Despite the fact Cameron jumped because of a dare, a group of his fellow students say they didn't try to physically prevent him from jumping off the ship, but they were unable to stop him. That doesn't really make sense, that last bit. They did...
Don't do it, Cameron.
They said that they did try to physically prevent him from jumping off the ship, but weren't able to stop him. Man, crazy, innit? That is crazy.
Damn.
Terrifying.
Damn.
Yeah,
it's funny.
That guy's never been seen again, man.
No. I think they've called off the search and everything now. It's crazy how much if you panic in situations, then you instantly can get caught out by stuff like that. Like even on a smaller scale. You know how last week when I was telling you about my holiday, Drew, and I was saying about my friend who got stung by a jellyfish. So we were in a situation where it was me, him and my other friend all almost stood in a triangle between each other with this jellyfish in the middle. So me and my friend that got stung didn't actually see the jellyfish, but the one that did obviously went, "Oh, there's a jellyfish in the middle of us." I just stood still and went, "I'm going to figure out where this is," and sort of move away from where it was. Whereas my friend instantly freaked out and tried swimming away without even like checking where it was or anything, and swam directly into it. But if he had just sort of like slowed down and went, "Right, where is this thing?" then he would have easily been able to avoid it. And it's just about sort of like keeping your cool in a situation like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw a video of this guy who went out on a hike and he had a little video camera with him that was like a tape video camera. It was like a bit old school, and like a bottle of water, and like that was it. Like that, he just went out for this hike and was gonna do like a little bit of a vlog or something like that. And he got lost out there, and like and he was out there for I think 3 or 4 days in the end. But he was making these vlogs on the camera as he was out there. And when the rangers found him, like basically the moral of the story was like they said that the only reason that he survived it was because he didn't panic. And he just stayed completely calm. And he just started doing stuff and he was like doing it on the camera and, you know, like saying what he was doing and made out of like leaves and stuff like to get the water like thinged up and stuff like that. I don't think he ate very much over the 4 days, but like he definitely had lots of water.
They say that you can go, I mean, I can't remember how long it is. It's like
a couple of weeks.
I'm pretty sure you can go months, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll look it up.
David Blaine went for like 30 days, didn't he?
That's obviously as long as you have water because you can die ridiculously quickly from not having hydration.
Yeah.
It's like days, isn't it? How long can you go without food?
Man, what a cool head it must take to not freak out in that situation. You're literally in like a Blair Witch Project kind of situation there, aren't you? But by yourself.
Well, I think, it's just the power of psychology, isn't it? And that's why I think it is so important in all areas of your life to be like, to think about how you're thinking about situations. You know what I mean? And like how to approach a situation. And I think we all know people that are naturally worriers and panickers and stuff. And you see how bad that is for them personally, like their whole entire lives. It affects their lives in a massively negative way. And we also know people that are so laid back, they're horizontal, and it's almost like they could be put in any situation, regardless of how dire or how stressful, and they're almost just like, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, obviously, you know, you still need to, I guess, like, you know, take action, but just to be that level-headed, like, to assume that everything's going to be okay is a powerful thing, you know?
There's this guy called Neil Kramer, and like I really, really like him. He like does all these like really long like podcasty episodes that are just him just talking and about things and stuff like that. But like he goes out for walks in nature and he just puts together these amazing like audio dialogues. And he was saying about more from like a spiritual like thing about how your soul is only you'll only ever be presented with something in your life that your soul is ready to handle, like for your own growth and stuff like that. And I thought that was like really interesting. So he says like when things happen to him in his life that are like super stressful, if someone like crashes into him on the motorway or you know his instant mindset is like bring it on. Like bring it on. I know because I strongly have this belief that my soul is. I know that my soul is only presenting me with this thing because it's ready to take on this challenge in this moment.
So in his mind, he's excited rather than scared.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a real good way. Like,
that's so cool, isn't it?
Completely flipping the script on it, isn't it?
He's like, bring it on.
I have to say, like, obviously, there's only so much. Like, this could be scary because let's face it, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like getting lost in America where it could literally be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of just like wilderness, where you could get like literally like there could be all sorts of search and rescue out for you, freaking Green Berets, helicopters and everything, and you still might not get found, and that's bears and wolves there around you and everything. But whenever I do like on like a big hike or something like in the Quantock or something, there is always an element I always think like it actually be pretty cool to get lost a bit. You know what I mean? Like you just got like went proper on the beach, you just got like proper lost.
Yeah.
I said it's not the same because you're probably never going to be more than like 10 miles away from something, some man-made civilization. But like it would still be almost like quite exciting.
Yeah. Just never get lost in Prague when you're absolutely smashed.
Yeah, no.
That was the
cities
worst.
are the worst, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd almost like rather get lost in nature.
I would say that's top 3 worst experiences of my life.
Yeah, so set the stage, man. So obviously I know, but for all our listeners, so say what happened, man. Stag do, wasn't it?
Yeah,
your brother-in-law's stag do.
Yeah, and we went out. I remember we went out to Hooters, and we had like the biggest meal you could imagine.
And you were in a purple suit, weren't you?
Yeah, we'd all dressed up in like you can get these like cheap suits on eBay and that that are like purple or orange or have clouds on or clowns or whatever. So we were all dressed up. I thought I looked pretty smart, to be fair. I had a black shirt
in a very
like
Joker-esque way,
tie, and then just like a nice purple suit. I thought that was pretty cool actually.
Like the Joker,
was like.
Mate.
Yeah, super dressed up in all of those, out for a Hooters. So we'd had a massive amount of food, and then we went out for the night, and it was the last night of the holiday. Last night, so it's like, we got to go hard on this one.
Yeah.
And still in that mindset of just getting wasted, like when you're a bit younger and that. And it was. I remember I was just drinking, but I was so full from the food, so full up, so I was drinking all night. And I was getting like real annoyed because I know it's a bad attitude to have, but I just wanted to be like wasted and enjoy it and have a crazy night, you know?
Yeah, why not?
But like now I look back and I'm like, how stupid, like, you know, I should have just enjoyed myself and like, you know, been like, yeah, I'm quite full, but I'll have a few casual drinks. But it was like drinking all night, not actually nothing happening.
Also, you were about 25 at the time still, so we were still young enough that you were doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's it. It was the turning point.
I mean, we still do stupid stuff, but I mean, like,
it was the turn.
We're a little bit older, a little bit wiser.
that thing where something's got to happen to you to be like, right, I make a decision. Yeah. It was like my demon poo moment.
This is Drew's demon thing story.
And literally, and we got to this bar, and I was thinking like, oh god, come on, just night start happening, that kind of thing. And going to the bar and then having these like flaming sambucas where they would keep putting them on and then just lighting them up, and and you would like breathe in the fire and stuff like, and all the fumes and that, and it would like you'd be sucking they put the fire out and then you suck the fumes through a straw, and then do the shot of like hot sambuca or whatever. And I did loads of those, and then all of a sudden it went from like nothing to just I am like beyond wasted. And I went through a stage when I used to get so wasted as well, where I used to just like walk off and go on my own. I just wander on my own. I do the wanderer, and like literally, so I just left everyone in the middle of this foreign club in Prague, where they were. It's a big
city as well, Prague.
And I have these flashes of memory throughout the night, and I remember being in this like seedy like back bar with just all locals sitting there, and me just on the edge on my own, like in
a purple suit,
trying to have conversations with them, but they didn't speak a word of English. And then I remember like being on the edge, and just like at the edge of this bar, just like buying stuff and that, and then them kicking me out. And then my last memory is just like going up to like a group of police officers or whatever. Yeah. But it just went really bad.
It's mad how it went so bad. Because you're not the sort of person as well. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't really know how it ended up as badly as possible, because I know you. I know that like regardless of how drunk you would be, you wouldn't be like aggressive to them. You'd definitely be cheeky.
They were definitely aggressive to me.
Yeah, I can see you definitely be like cheeky and definitely say stuff that's like, man, probably don't say that. But like, the fact that what you're about to say happened is crazy to me.
Yeah. So basically, I couldn't remember. The next thing I remember is being like
kick the crap out.
No. I didn't remember that. So the next thing I remember is being taken out of the police station.
Whoa.
And being being chucked into a back of a taxi, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And him basically saying, and the police officer saying like centre of Prague, like just take into the centre of Prague. And then I was going, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I remember just being completely lost, had no passport, had none of my stuff. I think I had no, I didn't have my phone. I had my wallet with me still. But like I didn't have my phone, I didn't have my passport.
So you lost your phone in Prague?
Yeah. I'd lost my phone. So I still had my wallet though, so I could still like pay for something. And I remember having to drive. I remember having to go in the taxi. The taxi driver drove me into Prague into a cash point, so I could pay him. And then I said, look, like you're gonna have to take me somewhere where there's an internet cafe or something. Yeah. Actually, no. Do you know what I mean? At this point, I didn't even say that. I just paid the taxi driver who dropped me off in centre of Prague, and then that was it. And then I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm out of the police station. Then I started walking, and I was still
wasted?
Yeah, I was still wasted, and I was thinking like, I'm actually in a bad situation here. What actually happened? And then the memory started. Yeah, the sun had started coming up.
The whole night had gone through by this point.
Yeah.
So how long do you reckon if you had to say, how long do you reckon you were in the police station?
Probably about 6 hours or something.
Quite a while.
Yeah, but this is when the memory started coming back. When I started sobering up, and I was right, I need to find my place to go now, what I'm doing.
Just to give an extra thing as well, they broke your rib, didn't they?
Yeah. So this is when the memory started coming up. Yeah, this is when the memory started coming back of the night when I started sobering up a little bit getting a bit less drunk and thinking I need to find my way back to the hotel. And literally, I have a flashback of being like picked up into the air and slammed down on the floor, and that's what broke my rib. Jesus. And then I had this memory of like him of being in the police station and being in a cell, and this guy trying to like write stuff down and like ask me questions, and me just being like, just like, them trying to like just ask me questions and stuff.
They probably just gave up. They probably like, right, this guy is a freaking lost cause.
I think what basically happened is they knew I was absolutely wasted, put me in a cell for the night, and when I'd sobered up enough for that, they thought I don't want to deal with this, sending back in town. So then I started thinking, like, what am I literally going to do? Like, which is the part of Prague which I remember where the hotel is. I didn't even have a card, and I knew my passport was at the hotel. I knew we were leaving Prague that day. I knew we were getting a plane that day as well.
Yeah, like even if it was like Bristol, like a city that we all know pretty well because we live really. It's like the closest city to us. Like I think might be. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Or no, technically Wales is. But anyway. like if you just got dropped in like a random area of Bristol and you were disorientated and it was like, you even that would be hard to find, let alone this foreign city you've only been to once or twice before.
That's literally it. I literally started taking it a street at a time, just like going up and down, like it was like blocks. And then there would be like, there's loads of McDonald's in Prague. So I just, and then when I got to a McDonald's,
like home.
I would go in, I would buy a coffee. Yeah. And I think that this will sober me up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Start drinking the coffee, and I remember just being absolute, and everyone just looking at me like I had mud on my face. I had like this purple suit, and like
you must
had
have
a rip
nuts.
in it. Yeah, and I was just wandering around Prague, just like
you were
McDonald's coffee, and like,
you were unwittingly method acting the Joker.
And then, but then I remember just like saying to myself like, "What have you done, Drew?" like. Like, like I knew I was going that day, but I knew I was stuck, and I went and then I went to a hotel, and I was like, look, I'm in a really bad situation. My passport's in the other hotel. I don't know where it is, and that. And she just went, no. I was like, look, I need to book into this hotel so I can because I've got nowhere at. No passport, no hotel. And I was like, so then they was just sort of drunk guy, like they didn't want to so then they wouldn't let me, so I was like, all right, what am I going to do next? So then I started walking around Prague again, went up to some police officers again.
Oh no! And they just beat you up again.
And I was like, because I knew that the hotel was like near a police station. It was like right near, right. And they have a lot of them dotted about there. I don't think they're proper police stations, but they just say like Policia on them, and they're like these little things. And I knew, and they were like, and he just turned around, and he was like, there are 200 Policias in Prague. I do not know. And do you know what I mean? And so I was like, all right, so he's not gonna help. And then I went up to a taxi driver and was like, look. You need to take me to like, I don't know where it is, and they're just like, oh, and one of them like let me in. Then I was like, right, okay, I need to go to a place where there's
like this
there's like an internet. No, and then I thought, right, what can I do? Right, I'm gonna go to an internet cafe that has Facebook. Sign into Facebook, message Josh or message anyone. No, it wouldn't be Josh. It would have been Danny actually.
Or Nick Bale,
and like. Okay, so I need to do that, but then this guy just didn't know what I meant by internet cafe, and I was trying to explain to him, but like still a bit drunk and stuff, and then so he started driving me around Prague, and he was like, oh yeah, this is one, and he dropped me off at this place, and I was like, right, wait here, because if this isn't an internet cafe, I need to find an internet cafe, and I got out of the car and like literally and like I paid him some money, but I was like, just wait there like 1 sec, because I'm just gonna check, and as soon as I got 2 steps away, he just wheel spinned off. So then I was like, oh my god, back to square one. And then I recognised, I remember I saw this shop
in Prague, man.
I saw that they just saw stupid drunk
you
Englishmen.
are not a popular guy in Prague, are you?
And then literally, like, I remember I got to this point in Prague, and I just saw this shop, and it was these mannequins with these ladies like stockings on, and I recognised the shop. I was like, I recognise that. I've been here. This is near the hotel. This is near the area that we were.
So I
knew that I was like kind of getting closer. And then but I was kind of losing hope as well, because it was getting it was probably about midday at this point, and I knew our flight was at like 3 or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to have to stay here and stuff. And then I walked up the street, was kind of losing all hope, and I looked over the road, and just the whole group of guys just walked out of the McDonald's that was there.
Can you believe that?
And I was like, and I just saw them all, and I was like,
mate, serendipity.
And then I remember, and they ran over the road, and I remember like Nick Bale and that ran, and he said I didn't know it was like this, but
what the hell's happened?
Apparently, I nearly had like tears in my eyes.
I remember you saying about that.
And just like, but I'd finally found him, and then so we went back to the hotel, and then I remember Danny paid for an extra day so I could like get a little bit of kip in the hotel.
That's really sound, to be fair.
And then he told me, then he was like, yeah, everyone was going home, but I was going to stay because like we told your mum and that, mate. We told your mum that you lost you the night before and that, and they would just like go.
Didn't like Sherelle say something?
Go out and find it now.
Didn't Sherelle basically say like you were not leaving without like that you got?
So all the guys were going to go home, but Danny was going to stay, and then like until like whatever had happened.
Basically, Sherelle would not marry him unless he came home with you.
But yeah, I remember the relief though. But it was a lesson, and I've never been that wasted again since. Do you know what I mean? It was the point where it's like you can't keep doing stupid stuff to yourself like this. Like
I had a poo demon, you had a police beat down in a foreign country, dressed as the Joker.
Yeah, it's those changing points in your life where you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Mate, it's an epiphany.
Mine was London.
Yeah,
man. Mine was London. When I pretty much did the similar, pretty much exact same thing
police
to
beatdown,
you, but without the beatdown.
Yeah,
but
you had the nice people that
yours
like,
all sounded pretty good.
I got blessed.
You were lucky, man. The next you could have got murked.
Yeah, the fact I was walking around London, blood all over me. I don't even know how I had blood. I must have fallen over or something at some point. Yeah. And just wasted completely. And the guys that found me happened to be sound, brought me in. We watched a tiny,
man, because that's a coin toss, isn't it?
Yeah, tiny desk concert.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't have my phone, didn't have anything on me, like no ID or anything. I literally just had my wallet with like 40 quid in it. And I saw these people, they took me back to their place and they were like, I'll book you an Uber, just you pay for it. So I just gave them the money straight to the hotel. Went and saw my friends, and it was the exact same thing. As soon as I got in the room and I saw my friends, I just gave them a hug and I was like, man, I've got no clue how I'm actually here. I was like, when I was walking around that town and there was like a taxi driver trying to fight me, and I remember just thinking,
I remember you saying about that. That was a pretty funny story. That was.
I think I went and got in his taxi and I was like, man, just take me home. And I was like, I don't know where your home is. And I was like, just please take me home.
Yeah, it was like so funny. It's like, take me home. Like, as a taxi driver, you're like, what?
Yeah, you can imagine how distressed I would have been as well. Like, just in the taxi, like, oh man, just help me out here.
Yeah. I just can't believe like 4 days at 5 days, 4 or 5 days, whatever it was in Prague, but like being at this hotel and never actually like make a note of what the hotel was called even. Like, how stupid is that?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
The thing is though, you do take it for granted though, don't you? It's like,
I'm with a group. Everyone knows where they're going. We always get back every night, like, you know.
The only hotel I could tell you that I've been to, like the name of it, is the one I've literally just come back from.
Yeah.
If you said to me like, Calum, where was that? What hotel did you stay in Crete in 2019? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was like.
Yeah.
I have loads of images in my head, obviously, of like the inside of the hotel, the outside of the hotel, the swimming pool, blah blah blah. I couldn't tell you what it was called.
Yeah.
So if I was lost in that same situation, I don't know.
And when you're that
it's
wasted,
like a hotel that's like got like it's like at the top of a hill and it's got like 3 swimming pools. It's on the coast.
It's like if I ever do that again, because they've always got cards on hotels, like they have the address on them and that, and it's like you can just take one of them, give it to the taxi driver or whatever.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Take me there. Can't even read it.
Yeah, mate, that's crazy, isn't it? That is a crazy thing to happen. As I said, in the long run, probably did you good.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is because, you know, it can be like a little bit cringe sometimes, and you've always got that section of society that make it out that we're like, it's so bad or something. And I think it's almost like, I find it a bit like cringeworthy and almost embarrassing as a fellow Brit, because I think really, if you're a British person, you are in like the top % of like living quality in the world. Like go tell someone that's like mining cobalt in Africa and breathing in poisonous fumes with a baby on the back that we have it hard, or go and tell somebody in like the middle of Russia where like you can't say anything that's like against the norm without getting taken away by the police, or you know, you can't even like challenge,
or China,
you can't even you can't challenge Putin or somebody in China without getting like potentially assassinated, or you know, it's like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, we live in like a police state or authoritarian. Like, no, we don't. You can go and mug off a police officer in the street in the UK and you're probably not even going to get that much trouble for it. They're probably just, you know what I mean? Whereas like even in Prague, which is like, you know, another lovely civilized place, you know, loads of tourists go there all the time.
They don't take no.
But yeah, it just shows that like you didn't go up to them aggressively. I know I didn't have to be. I know what you're like. I know I've never seen you be aggressive to anybody. I've definitely seen you're cheeky and you definitely would take the mick. But it's like, does that warrant getting your rib broken?
Yeah.
Like by the police, like getting like fully beaten up like that, like beaten up to the point where your bones are breaking. Like, yeah. It just seems like, you know, that's like, whoa, the police in Prague don't mess about. You know what I mean?
I think I needed it, man. I think, like you say, like what your soul only has what it can handle. Like I needed that for a kick up the butt and a wake up call. You know,
for sure, man.
Of like, don't keep going down this direction because you're gonna get your ribs broken. Just
man,
get lost.
For sure. Right, we'll do some quickfire facts. To bid the episode adieu. I thought this was a bit of a crazy fact, and I hadn't heard of it before. I would have thought this would have been a more well-known fact, but did you know the original London Bridge, obviously quite famous London Bridge, is now in Arizona in America. It was dismantled and relocated in 1968 by an American tycoon. So literally in Arizona, there's a bridge. It's all reconstructed. That is the original London Bridge. Well, I say the original. Cool. There's obviously been lots.
When you say tycoon, is that like a business
super freaking rich, like a mentally rich guy. Yeah, essentially. But how crazy is that? It was 10,000 tons worth of brick that he transported all the way from London to Arizona. In a way, it makes me think, because I've always thought that Arizona is like a cool place. They're quite similar states. Arizona is like a cool place anyway. But yeah, it makes me almost want to visit there even more. Like, almost like, imagine going across the bridge and being like, it would almost feel a bit trippy to me, like,
this is the original London.
Obviously, like, I've been to London several times, and I've gone across the modern London Bridge, and this is like London Bridge, but I'm in Arizona in America. Like, it'd almost be a bit surreal. Do you know what I mean? Like, almost like a bit spinny. This next fact goes hand in hand with what we were saying earlier on about dolphins and that. It says dolphins can identify humans by checking our skeleton structure through their built-in sonar. You know, through their clicks.
Through their echolocation.
Yeah, says they will go out of their way to help shipwreck victims, fight sharks, and stay afloat, because as a mammal they understand the fear of drowning.
Whoa,
that's so cool, isn't it?
I feel like I've seen before videos of dolphins almost doing like a circle around a human.
Oh yeah,
to fend off sharks.
I've heard stories of like humans witnessing like sharks approaching swimmers, like going in to bite, and then dolphin coming out of nowhere and like freaking spearing it from the side. And obviously like a dolphin's got such a hard and like narrow point. Obviously, they can get up to like a very fast speed, even if a shark's like twice the size of them or 3 times the size of them. Like it going at full speed and ramming its thing, like it's like getting like, punched in the ribs really hard by like a freaking good boxer. And like they'll just keep doing that and like taking it in turns until the shark eventually is like, "What's going on? What's going on? I'm getting the hell out of here." And it will like literally save people's lives.
So mad, isn't it?
Shout out to the dolphins, man! Shout out to the dolphins. This is quite a hilarious fact. Once Saudi Arabia accidentally printed thousands of textbooks containing the image of Yoda sitting next to King Faisal while he signed the 1945 UN Charter. The image, which shows the diminutive Jedi Master sitting beside King Faisal as he signs the UN Charter in 1945, was created by a Saudi Arabian artist called Shawish. He said he included Yoda in the photo of King Faisal, who was then serving as his father Ibn Saud's foreign envoy, because they were both wise, strong, and always calm. Shawish said some critical comments had been made about his artwork after the textbook's publication, but most had been directed towards the education ministry. He said someone should have checked the image before printing it. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. But isn't that hilarious? Like all these educational like textbooks, and it's like this really like serious like big moment. And, like, and there's just like Yoda's next to him.
The photo is hilarious as well, because when you see the photo, it doesn't even look that out of place, does it?
It's hilarious, man.
So good.
This is another cool fact. We've talked about it before, actually, on Pandora's Box, but just to reiterate the fact, medieval archers were so strong they could fire an arrow the distance of 3 football fields. Archaeologists can distinguish an archer in a group of medieval corpses purely because of how large their bow arms are. Just like abnormally large bow arms.
And what we said about the bones as well, how your bones would grow actually more dense and everything.
That's what they're saying, isn't it? It's like absolutely crazy, man. Yeah, 200 to 300 meters they could do that. They could fire an arrow, isn't it?
That's so far, man. 3 football pitches. Yeah, man. Outrageous.
Yeah, they were so strong they could pierce chainmail, leather, and even plate mail. Their arrows, they were just so strong. Their bows were such a high power of pound strength. Absolutely crazy, isn't it? It says depending on the archer, however, the damaging range of a bodkin-tipped arrow fired from a longbow would only be around 220 meters. If the archer was talented and in good shape at this range, a heavy shaft bodkin arrow could pierce any type of a medieval archer. That is so cool.
Armour.
What did I say?
Archer.
Yeah, armour. Thanks for that, man. Just helping me out there. Helping out my collateral damage. Let's see what this next cool fact is. People who work more than 40 hours and commute more than 5 hours each week are more likely to be physically inactive and experience sleep problems compared with times when their commute times were less than 5 hours a week. There you go. Try and get a job that you're not commuting too much. Yeah, this is a nice wholesome fact. Do you want a little wholesome fact about seal?
Wholesome.
In September of the year 2000, a man named Kevin Hines jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. During his fall, he suddenly realised that he didn't actually want to die. Thankfully, a sea lion that happened to be circling beneath him decided to keep him afloat until the Coast Guard arrived. He was 19 years old at the time, struggling with mental health issues. He said, "I was drowning when I jumped and if it wasn't for this sea lion that was circling beneath me and kept me afloat until the Coast Guard boat was behind me, I would not be here anymore, Kevin Hines said in an interview. Miraculously, I survived, and despite my severe injuries, I was able to reach the surface of the water. Upon resurfacing, I bobbed up and down in the frigid waters surrounding me. It was freezing cold. Then, something brushed around my legs. I feared it was a shark coming up to devour me whole. I tried to punch it, thinking it might bite me. However, the marine animal, which turned out to be a sea lion, just circled beneath me and kept pushing me up to prevent me from drowning. Isn't that amazing?
Whoa.
That was like an angel, mate. An angel sea lion. An angel in the form of a sea lion.
Beautiful.
Right, and just to finish off, I'll give one more fact just to finish off the pod today. So it says, frequent consumption of fried foods, especially fried potatoes, is linked with a 12% higher risk of anxiety and a 7% higher risk of depression than people that don't eat fried foods at all. Isn't that a mental fact? I wonder why exactly that is. There's many reasons why that could be. I don't...
Doesn't it depend what you'd fry it in as well?
Surely. Yeah, I think it obviously...
It's just that's all like... bad.
Well, it says especially fried potatoes. I guess you're thinking about your typical fried, if you went in
some
McDonald's fries.
Yeah, McDonald's fries, KFC fries, Burger King fries. I guess that would be like the main culprit.
I've started cooking frying everything in butter now. I don't know if that's good or. I think that's better.
Olive oil will be okay.
Yeah,
olive oil and butter would be. But
apparently, olive oil it changes its molecular structure.
That's extra virgin olive oil. So you can cook in regular olive oil fine. So just always remember that. Use normal olive oil for cooking, extra virgin oil, because what it does is it oxidizes.
Yeah.
And it makes it what's the word? Carcinogenic. It can actually increase your chances of having cancer. Extra virgin olive oil was never designed to be heated up like that. It's designed because
I always used to
put it on cold food. So just always think about it like normal olive oil, cooking, extra virgin olive oil, put it on after. So it's great for salads, bread.
I know butter as well. You can cook with butter fine.
Butter burns at quite a low temperature, and then it's not good for the butter to burn as well. That can have bad effects. So apparently the best way to do it is a little bit of normal olive oil,
a little bit of butter.
Exactly, and the olive oil prevents the butter from burning. If you put butter on the pan on its own, it will burn. If you put the olive oil on it first, I don't know exactly. You can sort of imagine in your head almost it's like lubing the pan or something.
Got to lube the pan.
You got lube up.
Protection.
Always lube up, people. Never forget to use lube. But on that amazing fact, we've come to the end of another Pandora's Box, folks. Thanks for tuning with us today. We love you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We shall see you next week once again. Cheers, everybody.
Ta-ra for now.
Have a great week.